when I got the email from Robert, I thought it was a hoax. And I emailed him back, I said, look, I don't know who you are, but this is obviously a hoax. If you're Robert, you're going to have to prove it.
And did he prove it?
Yes, he did prove it.
We are discussing the re-emergence of Roger O'Donnell as a member of Cure, which is very exciting. And I would say it was first kind of discussed on this programme.
It was, when we were talking about Disintegration. Although it has to be said, he's not rejoined the band, he's guesting with the band for these special shows. What happens after that, nobody knows.
Well, we'll hear what he has to say about that in a moment. Hi, Vic, could you possibly play something off the Cure classic Disintegration, as you do have Roger on the show, and this is one of the finest records he ever played on. Danny from Twickenham, thank you very much, Steve, for getting in touch. Your response to that, Mr. North?
Well, we're actually going to talk about the albums in hand. We did do a Disintegration special not that long ago, and also we did play a track from Disintegration a few weeks ago when we were talking about Robert and Mary Smith on the census forms.
We did, yes. If you noticed on the census, the first names on the census,
on the example
inside,
page.
yes, this is how to fill it in. Robert and Mary Smith.
Yeah.
Okay, let's have a track from The Cure then. What are we going to hear first and foremost before we get into the interview with Roger O'Donnell?
Well, we thought we may as well start with the first album they're going to play and the first track, which is 10:15 Saturday Night from the first Cure album called Three Imaginary Boys.
And just to set this up, they're not playing it at some old dive. They're going to play it at Sydney Opera House.
Oh, yeah.
Which is not to be sneezed at. Here we go with The Cure. 10:15 Saturday Night, that's The Cure. We are talking Cure this evening for a very good reason, because Roger O'Donnell from North Devon is rejoining the band for two very special concerts in Australia at the Sydney Opera House, which is rather good, isn't it?
It is indeed.
So, should we hear the aforementioned Roger O'Donnell?
I think we should.
I think we should too.
Vic Morgan.
Roger, it's great talking to you again. Thank you very much indeed for being with us. Now,
always nice to talk to you.
Well, it's always nice to talk to you. Now, the last time we spoke to you, you said it would be nice to play with The Cure again, and lo, behold, and here we are, you are.
Yes, what a turn up for the books. I'm as surprised by this as anybody, and when I got the email from Robert, I thought it was a hoax. And I emailed him back, I said, look, I don't know who you are, but this is obviously a hoax. If you're Robert, you're going to have to prove it.
And did he prove it?
Yes, he did prove it. We talked about a few things that only the two of us would know.
Fair enough.
So that was that.
And without going into the personal side of this, I mean, was it difficult getting back together? Are there problems you have to overcome, or is it just a straightforward, let's go back in the band and enjoy this?
Yeah, no, there's nothing to overcome. I think we've spoken a few times around about the last time I spoke to you when I'd done that Disintegration Memories thing, and we cleared the air and talked about what had happened and what had been said. And you know, the one thing about Robert, he doesn't bear a grudge, and I'd said some stupid things. I think whenever you break in any kind of breakup situation, things get said, don't they? You get, it's a mixture of sadness and bitterness, and but it's in the past, and I saw him for the first time on Wednesday, and it was just like I'd seen him the day before. It was like nothing had changed.
Now, this is really quite an exciting project. I mean, why you're not doing this in North Devon, I'm quite annoyed about it. But the fact is, you couldn't go much further away to do this. So tell us about it.
That has struck me. 24 hours on a plane is not, but it's worth it. It's definitely worth it.
Well, you quite like planes, if I remember rightly.
Yeah, well, not for 24 hours non-stop. Well, I'm sure, hopefully it will land and refuel.
Now, tell us about it then, because you're not only, you're going to the other side of the world, but you're not playing in some park somewhere. You're playing in one of the iconic buildings of the world. Tell us about it.
Yeah, that's amazing, isn't it? It's a festival called Vivid, which is, I think it originally started as a film and lighting kind of festival, but gradually music's become a more and more important part of it. And it's in the Sydney Opera House, which, like you said, it's iconic, isn't it? It's up there with Carnegie Hall and Royal Albert Hall and Madison Square Gardens. I think that's what triggered Robert's idea to do something special, and obviously to film it, which is going to be, I think, a 7 or 8 camera shoot over the 2 nights.
Fantastic. Have you played the Opera House before? Have you been there before?
No, I haven't. I've walked around the outside of it, a long time ago. Never played there, no.
Wonderful. And how big are The Cure in Australia? I mean, presumably pretty big, otherwise you wouldn't be going there.
Yeah, I think that the tickets will probably sell out in about 5 minutes.
Good heavens.
Probably. I mean, it's going to be... And there are only 2,000 seats each night, so it's not going to take long to sell out, is it? Robert was fought to keep the prices low as possible, but with that kind of, that small amount of people and the cost of putting on that kind of show, it's difficult. But yeah.
Now it's going to take the shape of doing complete albums. Is that right?
Yeah, the first 3 albums that The Cure released, and it's 30 years since the release of Face. So, and I think it's 30 years since they went there. Just over 30 years since they first went there. So a lot of anniversaries, and some of these songs haven't been played for 30 years. We went through them yesterday, just the 4-piece. Lowell's coming over next week, and first time they've been played in 30 years.
Fantastic. That's an amazing thing. And, when I first met you, I said, flying a plane is slightly different to your normal occupation. And you said I'm a musician. I'm in a band called The Cure. It was one of those knock me over with a feather moments. And, now you are back in the band called The Cure. How do you feel about it?
Well, just to get one thing straight, I've only been asked to play these 2 shows. I'm not actually, I'm not rejoined or anything.
Yeah, so but that's for me to say. Well, that might lead to other things, obviously.
I can't, I can't comment. And obviously that would be a whole other decision for me to make. But I'm very happy just to approach these 2 shows as a guest of the band. So, but you can say what you like, Vic. Yeah.
All right, well, it might lead to other things. We might see you as a longer-term member of The Cure, because the last time you were on, you were kind of hinting that you'd want to get back in the group.
Yeah, it's something, it's one of those weird things, isn't it? I don't know, it's not straightforward. And Robert, when I saw Robert, he said, "Oh, I didn't know if you'd say yes." And I was like, "You're joking, aren't you?" Especially with something like this. And he's like, "Well, I didn't know." So, I mean, it's not, we've all got our own lives, and I've been working hard on my own career for the last 6 years, and I'm very, very happy doing what I'm doing with my own music. So, but it is, it's undeniably an amazing opportunity, and I'm overwhelmed that Robert would ask me.
So when is this all occurring?
Well, we start proper rehearsals, the week after next, and we've got some production rehearsals in the UK, and then we fly to Australia on the 26th, and the first show is on the 31st, and the second show is on the 1st, and then we fly back on the 2nd, and I've got a show in London on the 5th.
Wow.
On my own music. Good
heavens. And how are you with jet lag of that proportion?
Oh, I'm dreading it.
Yeah.
It's rough, isn't it? 12-hour time difference. I don't think there's any way around it. I think the last time I came back from Australia, I just slept for a week. But I obviously can't do that.
Well, that's no good if you've got a show coming up, is it?
Oh, no, exactly.
No. So exciting times. That's magnificent. I mean, and what are your plans for sort of playing in this neck of the woods anytime soon? Have you got any?
Not... Well, my main thing that I'm doing at the moment is that I've written a piece of music for an orchestra. I think I may have spoken about this last time.
Yes.
And that's been performed in London. I'd love to have it performed in Exeter. Maybe I should talk to the university. But it was inspired by a David Hockney painting. It's called Quieter Trees, and it's going to be performed in London on July 2nd. And I'm very, very excited about that. So, but, I'd love to do something in Exeter.
Well, it'd be terrific to see you playing this. And, of course, you still got to do the grumpy old men thing on this programme.
I'm up for it. I'm as grumpy as I am. Maybe slightly less grumpy right now.
Yeah, I can imagine so. But after 2 flights to Australia there and back, you might be just a touch more grumpy than you were before.
Yes, you catch me at Heathrow on the morning of the 3rd, and we could probably do, like, a series of programmes.
And recorded music, when have you got any coming out?
Nothing on the horizon. I released an album of piano songs last October. Working on an album with an amazing cellist called Julia Kent, who plays with Anthony and the Johnsons. So I'm very excited about that as well. I've been doing lots of things with orchestral instruments and cellos and, all that sort of thing. Pianos instead of synthesizers. So, it's been good.
That's the beautiful thing, I guess, about keyboards, isn't it? It does transcend a lot of barriers, doesn't it?
Yeah, you can, it's just every instrument in one, isn't it? I can hear Robert going mental. Yes, he's all started again, see the friendly camaraderie.
I bet you're looking forward to it, though, aren't you?
Yes, I am. I am, very much. It was, the last couple of days have been... I was very nervous when I arrived at the studio on Wednesday. Very, very nervous. And, in fact, I nearly turned around and came home.
Really?
Yeah, it's, anxiety, but I didn't. And I bumped into Simon there, and then it was all right. So, and of course, as soon as I saw Robert, and we just hugged, and that was it. Back to normal.
Fantastic. Well, I hope it really goes well. There's no reason why it wouldn't, for goodness sake. And it would be lovely to talk to you after it's happened, just to get your reflections on it.
I'd love to, Vic. We'll make a date.
Wonderful. Roger, thank you very much, and good luck with it.
You're welcome. Thanks very much, Vic.
That's The Cure. Matthew North is with me on the Late Show. It's 11:32. That track was called what?
That was Three Imaginary Boys, which is the title track of their first album.
Now, that interview's gone around the world already, I know that, which always seems quite extraordinary to me. And I would say about the Cure fans, they are extraordinarily loyal. And Roger was making a point to me off air about that, how he,
Oh, yeah. I mean, Cure fans worldwide, they are completely and utterly bonkers about the band. You go to any... the fact is, every gig they ever play is a virtual sellout around the world. When they toured the last time, I saw them in Paris and I saw them in London, packed out, and everyone there knows every word to every song. They know what's on every B-side. They
Bit of pressure on a group, though, isn't it? Let's be honest. If everybody knows exactly what the words are, isn't that a little bit of pressure?
Well, the thing...
Because that used to happen with the Grateful Dead, didn't it?
Well, the thing with the Cure is they give the audience value. When I saw the Cure the first time on the last tour in Paris, they played for just over 3.5 hours,
which is pretty good.
And that's the kind of dedication between audience and band. The band give it 110%, play all the songs the audience want to hear. They're forever pulling out songs that they haven't done for a long time, putting them into the set. The audience repay by singing along to every single song, and the atmosphere at a Cure gig, a good Cure gig, the atmosphere is great.
Brilliant. Final track we're going to hear from the Cure tonight.
Well, the next one we're going to hear is off the second album they're going to play, which was 17 Seconds. This is probably, if you had like a top 5 most popular Cure songs, this is definitely one of them. This is A Forest.
The Cure and Forest?
A Forest.
A Forest.
Always the high point of any Cure concert, especially when they do it for 15, 20 minutes. They stretch it out. Great fun.
Good stuff. Right, we'll have more Cure for you very shortly. We'll also go to the BBC Weather Centre in London.